All right, back again for part 3 of the second episode of PennTraX Season 2.
That's hard to say.
We just
I would have messed that up.
We just teased in the last segment of about Unionville and how their performance at Cherokee was not the best performance they've had this season. They made the very brave trip to McQuaid and challenged the champions.
It wasn't a brave trip.
Well, to go against the champions instead of...
Coach Lasianka knew last year what he had and what he had coming this year, and bided his time and got the girls more mature in their racing experience, and they got second in states last year. So
I say it's brave because in this era people are starting to really micromanage where their runners run and who they go up against. They don't want to see certain teams at certain times of the year, so to actually say, you know what, we're going to go up to New York with the home of the champions, the 7-time defending national champions, and take them on and see what we got. So I completely commend that and respect that big time.
Just a little known fact, in the history of NXN, no team from another state other than New York has won the girls. I believe year 1 was Saratoga. Year 2 was just basically saying, okay, we really were that good all these years. Second year was Hilton, New York, and then 3 through
now
9 was Fayetteville Manlius. And they had been ranked number 1 in the country at that point, and that was a lot of they had some folks back, but they did lose a lot, and just out of respect for the program and that they just always produce quality teams. They're good this year, but some of the talk I'd heard was they weren't quite as dominating as they had been in the past. Not taking anything away from Unionville, but they went up in McQuaid. It's a 3-mile course. And they ran the Unionville way, which is to run the pace that you're told. I believe Courtney Smith was told to go out in like 5:30 and ran a 5:31. You have to get better at that, Courtney. And then when Coach Lack says, 5:30,
it's 5:30,
or whichever way it was. But all the girls did what they were told to do, and they were back. But 4 of them were together.
Yes.
And then when it's time, they move.
They moved to a historic win for the program and for Pennsylvania.
45-79, and that moved them up to number 2. They had been
9 or 10. Something.
Yeah, that moved them up to number 2 in the country, and which is incredible at this point. And then Fayman did drop a little bit, but they went to 7th, and Fayman. You just don't know.
There's still a long way to go. December is a long time away, believe it or not.
And we did hear, from our New York webmaster that that Fayman went out a little bit fast. But
make the mistakes.
No excuses.
Now.
Make the mistakes now.
The rematch is Saturday in Manhattan, and we'll get to that.
Yep. But earlier in the day, the time that Courtney ran was 16:47. And that was number 2 by 0.8 of a second, basically, all time to another Pennsylvania girl, Kennedy Wiesner, Elk County Catholic. As a junior last year, ran 16:46 on the 3-mile course. She went up there again and ran 16:54. She was trying for it, just didn't.
Sometimes you don't have the day,
Well, only 2 girls under 17, and they were both Pennsylvania girls, and it's nice to have a New York course guys that have the top 2 times all time are Pennsylvania kids.
There we go.
So
we're moving on up in the national ladder.
Take that. But Kennedy is ranked nationally, and
she's number 20 this year, now.
Number 20 right now, and Courtney was
17th. We have Tessa Barrett at 12.
Okay.
And we also have Maddie Clahane at Cumberland Valley at 25. Who, everybody was.
And that moves us nicely into the Carlisle Invitation.
Yeah, while Unionville was beating the national champions, Maddie Clahane was checking out the new layout out of Carlisle, and running an incredible 17:28. And now it's the first year of this new layout of this course.
Yeah, and my opinion is it's probably a little bit slower than the original layout, and that's only because there's a couple more turns when you count them, and then there's a hill where it breaks off, where it used to go in front of the intermediate school. It breaks off and goes up a little hill. So it's not It's not incredibly slower, but I think it's a little bit slower. So running 17:28 on that course when the course record on the old course had been 18:05, I believe.
18:05.
18:05 by one Ashlyn Cuff.
Yes.
National champion as a senior in Foot Locker, but she ran that as a sophomore when she came down to Pennsylvania, and so that's that's incredible. But two other girls went under 18.
Ashlyn Devlin ran 17:58.
Right.
She was just outleaned by Amelia Palladino from University of Ohio,
University
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
And she's a Foot Locker finalist. Correct.
University High School was in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Morgantown, okay.
And and she was a Foot Locker finalist last year. So pretty spectacular. Two PA girls, young, freshman and sophomore, saying.
That's how the game is, and on the girls' side these days,
Yep.
you can show up and make an impact right away.
So, but Downtown West did win behind Devlin, and with 116 points. So that was pretty incredible. And then on the boys' side, we had
Zach Brem
from Carlisle, who kind of made some noise in the spring, won a state championship in the 800 in AAA, but number 6 on the course all time, behind state champions galore, both Millers and Kyle
Owen.
Yeah. So just incredible. 15:28, good time. And then
big story for me was Westchester Henderson making their 5K debut that day. They scored 88 points without Tony Russell running. Everybody else, stepped up and ran a solid race, and people kind of were wondering after North Allegany's performance, like, are they a legitimate championship contender to Henderson? I think Henderson came back and said, we're still here.
Yep.
We still got to beat us. Last year they pulled out the skin of their teeth, but I think this year they're more of a favorite.
Yeah, they look pretty good. And then quickly on to Six Flags.
That's a very unique meet.
North Penn had a good day.
They did. They've this meet's only 4 or 5 years old, and North Penn has made it a tradition to go there every year. They stepped up to the varsity A race this year. They went 2-4-6 to get started, and they had another runner in the teens, and then a final runner in the 20s. They pulled off a 7-point win, 58-65, but they had never finished better than third out there. So that was a big win for that team. They've been racing against their bogey team now, Central Bucks East, so many times. Prior to that, 3 times, 3 invitationals, 3 second places. So this was a big confidence boost for that squad.
And then Ali Valenti, their number 1, got second overall.
Yes, 18:47. That's she had a very solid race. She put herself in the mix right away. She was only about 10 seconds behind the winner.
So. And I forgot to mention, though, Unionville, we did mention, is number 2 in the country, but we cannot forget that Pennsbury, again, as of this week, is now is
25.
Number 25. So looking good for PA.
Yes.
So we'll be back for the
final
segment for the first weekend in October, which has some special things going on.
Yes, it did.
We'll be right back.